The number stopped the entire sports world in its tracks. $504 million. Not a contract extension, not a restructure, a statement. Patrick Mahomes just did something that has never been done before, something that changes the way every single franchise in the NFL will do business for the next decade. The numbers are staggering, the implications are massive, and the reaction from players, agents, and front offices across the league has been nothing short of stunned silence. Because this is not just about money, this is about power, this is about legacy. This is about a quarterback who just redefined what is possible in professional football. When the news first leaked, nobody believed it. The numbers seemed impossible, too large, too unprecedented, too far beyond anything the league had ever seen. But then the official announcement came, and the sports world had to accept a new reality. Patrick Mahomes had just signed a historic restructured deal worth $504 million. Let that sink in for a moment. $500 million. Guaranteed, committed, locked in. The previous record for any athlete in North American sports history was held by Lionel Messi, but that was in a different sport with different economics. In the NFL, where contracts are notoriously not fully guaranteed, where players routinely get cut before seeing the final years of their deals, Mahomes just shattered every expectation. His new agreement not only resets the quarterback market, it obliterates it. The gap between Mahomes and the next highest paid player is now measured in the hundreds of millions. The reaction from around the league was immediate. Players who had been negotiating their own contracts suddenly had new leverage. Agents who had been arguing for fully guaranteed deals suddenly had a precedent, and front offices who had been holding the line against guaranteed money suddenly had to figure out how to respond. Mahomes did not just change his own future, he changed the future for every star player in the NFL. What makes this deal even shocking is the timing. The Chiefs just came off the worst season of the Mahomes era. A losing record, a torn ACL, a playoff streak snapped. By any traditional measure, this was not the moment to double down on a franchise quarterback. Most teams would have waited, would have negotiated from a position of strength, would have used the injury in the down year as leverage to get a more team-friendly deal. But the Chiefs did the opposite. They went all in. They bet everything on the man who had just watched his dynasty crumble around him. And in doing so, they sent a message to the entire league. Patrick Mahomes is not just their quarterback, he is their partner, their foundation, their reason for existing as a franchise, and they will do whatever it takes to keep him happy and healthy and motivated. The negotiation itself was shrouded in secrecy. There were no leaks, no posturing, no public back and forth through the media. Mahomes and the Chiefs front office sat down, looked at each other, and figured out a deal that worked for everyone. That level of trust between a player and an organization is almost unheard of in modern sports. Most contract negotiations are wars. This was a partnership. When the news finally broke, social media exploded. Fans of other teams reacted with a mixture of awe and despair. How are we supposed to compete with that? How can any franchise build a roster when one player takes up such a massive percentage of the salary cap? The answer, of course, is that they cannot, and that is exactly the point. The Chiefs are not trying to be like everyone else. They are trying to be better.
The ripple effects of this deal will be felt for years. Every quarterback who signs a contract from this moment forward will have Patrick Mahomes' number in the back of their mind. Not because they expect to match it, but because the precedent has been set. The ceiling has been raised. The conversation about what a franchise quarterback is worth has been permanently altered. Consider the quarterbacks who will be negotiating new deals in the coming seasons: Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence. Each of them has an argument, to varying degrees, that they should be compensated in the same stratosphere as Mahomes. Not the same amount, perhaps, but the same conversation. And each of those negotiations just became exponentially more difficult for the teams involved. The agents are already licking their chops. They have been waiting for a contract like this, a fully guaranteed mega deal that blows the doors off the market. Now they have their ammunition. Every time a team tries to push back on guaranteed money, the agent will point to Mahomes. Every time a team tries to argue that the salary cap makes certain numbers impossible, the agent will point to the Chiefs. The excuses that used to work no longer apply. But here is what the critics are missing. Mahomes is not just any quarterback. He is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, a multiple-time MVP, a player who has already secured his place in Canton before his 31st birthday. Most quarterbacks negotiating their next deals cannot point to that kind of resume, and teams will use that distinction to push back against the most aggressive demands. Nevertheless, the market has shifted. The old comps no longer apply. The days of teams nickel and diming their franchise quarterbacks are over. If you have a truly special player, a player who can carry your franchise for a decade, you pay him. You pay him whatever it takes, and you figure out the rest later. The structural changes to the deal are almost as important as the total value. The Chiefs converted a massive portion of Mahomes' compensation into guarantees that protect him in ways that most NFL contracts do not. Injury guarantees, skill guarantees, cap guarantees, the kind of protections that used to be reserved for executives and entertainers, not football players. This is the part of the deal that has other quarterbacks paying closest attention. The total number is flashy, but the protections are the real game changer. Mahomes is ensured that even if something catastrophic happens, even if he never plays another snap, his financial future is secure. That is the kind of security that most NFL players can only dream about, and now one of them has made it a reality. The agents representing the next generation of quarterbacks will be studying every page of this deal. They will be looking for clauses they can copy, structures they can replicate, precedents they can cite. The Mahomes contract will become the template, the gold standard, the document that every other quarterback negotiation starts from. That is what it means to change everything.
From the outside, the timing of this deal seems strange. The Chiefs just finished a 6-11 season. Their quarterback is coming off a torn ACL. Their roster has more holes than it has had in years. Their division, once a guaranteed cakewalk, is now a minefield of rising competitors. By any objective measure, this was not the moment to go all in on a massive financial commitment. But the Chiefs' front office sees something that the critics do not. They see the long game. They understand that the 2025 season was an anomaly, not a new normal. They believe that Mahomes, fully healthy and fully motivated, is still the best quarterback in the world, and they are willing to bet $500 million on that belief. The structural genius of the deal is that it actually helps the Chiefs' salary cap situation in the short term. By converting a massive portion of Mahomes' compensation into guaranteed money spread over multiple years, the team reduced his cap hit for the upcoming season. That gives them flexibility to sign other players, to fill the holes on the roster, to build a team capable of competing for championships. In the long term, the deal will become more expensive. The cap hits in the final years are enormous. But the NFL salary cap rises every year, the television deals get bigger, the revenue streams multiply. What looks like an impossible number today will look like a bargain in 5 years. That is the bet the Chiefs are making, that the cap will grow faster than Mahomes' cap hits, and history suggests they are right. The other element of this deal that does not get enough attention is the message it sends to other players. When the franchise treats its best player this way, when they show that level of commitment and respect, other players notice. They want to be part of that organization. They are willing to take less money to play alongside a legend who is being treated like a legend. Travis Kelce has already taken less money to stay with the Chiefs. Other veterans will likely do the same. The culture that the Chiefs have built, a culture of family and loyalty and winning, is reinforced by deals like this. When players see that the organization takes care of its own, they buy in, they sacrifice, they bleed for the logo. The Chiefs are not just betting on Patrick Mahomes, they are betting on the system they have built around him, the coaching staff, the front office, the culture. They believe that as long as Mahomes is healthy and happy, they will compete for championships, and they are willing to pay whatever it takes to keep him healthy and happy. That is not arrogance, that is conviction.
The public reaction to the Mahomes deal has been mostly positive. Fans celebrate greatness, analysts applaud the Chiefs for locking up their franchise quarterback. But behind closed doors, in the executive suites and war rooms of the other 31 teams, the reaction is very different. There is fear, there is frustration, and there is a growing recognition that the balance of power in the NFL has just shifted even further toward Kansas City. General managers across the league are already calculating the impact on their own rosters. Every player whose contract is coming up for renewal just got more expensive. Every free agent who was considering a team-friendly deal just got a reality check. The Mahomes deal has created inflation across the entire player market, and the teams with the most cap space are the ones who will suffer the most. The small market franchises are particularly worried. They have always operated at a disadvantage, unable to generate the revenue streams of the Dallas Cowboys or the Los Angeles Rams. The Mahomes deal, with its unprecedented guarantees, sets a bar that many of these teams simply cannot reach. How can the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Indianapolis Colts compete when the price of keeping a franchise quarterback just doubled overnight? The answer, of course, is that they cannot. And that is the point. The NFL has always been a league of haves and have-nots. The gap between the elite franchises and the struggling ones has never been wider. The Mahomes deal did not create that gap, but it certainly widened it. The teams that already had their quarterbacks locked up, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, are celebrating. The teams that are still searching, still hoping, still praying for a savior, are despairing. The Players' Union is watching closely as well. For years, the union has fought for fully guaranteed contracts, the kind that are standard in baseball and basketball. The Mahomes deal is not fully guaranteed in the strictest sense, but it is close. Close enough that the union will use it as ammunition in the next round of collective bargaining negotiations. Imagine the scene at the negotiating table. The owners argue that fully guaranteed contracts would ruin the league, would make it impossible to build competitive rosters, would drive small market teams out of business. And the union points to the Chiefs, to the Mahomes deal, to the fact that Kansas City just proved that massive guarantees are possible. The owners will have no good answer. The precedent has been set. The other quarterbacks in the league are already reaching out to their agents, asking the same question: can I get a deal like that? The answer for most of them is no. But the question itself is a victory. The conversation has shifted. The old rules no longer apply, and every quarterback who signs a contract from this moment forward will have Patrick Mahomes to thank.
Patrick Mahomes just became the highest-paid player in NFL history, by a wide margin. The pressure that comes with that title is immense. Every bad game, every missed throw, every loss will be analyzed through the lens of his contract. Is he worth it? Is anyone worth that much? The questions will follow him for the rest of his career. But Mahomes has never been afraid of pressure. He has thrived on it. The bigger the moment, the better he plays. The louder the criticism, the more determined he becomes. This contract, this massive financial commitment, will not weigh him down. It will lift him up. It will validate everything he has worked for. It will remind him every single day that the people who matter most believe in him completely. The immediate priority is getting healthy. The torn ACL is healed, but building back the strength and confidence takes time. Mahomes will spend the rest of the offseason in Kansas City, working with the training staff, preparing his body for the punishment that awaits him. The contract guarantees his financial future. Now he has to guarantee his physical future, and he is taking that responsibility seriously. The longer-term priority is winning. Mahomes has always said that championships matter more than money, that legacy matters more than contracts. This deal gives him the security to focus entirely on football, to ignore the distractions, to pour every ounce of energy into being the best quarterback he can be. The money is taken care of. Now all that remains is the greatness. The rest of the league has been warned. Patrick Mahomes is not just wealthy now, he is empowered. He has the backing of an organization that believes in him unconditionally. He has the security to take risks, to push boundaries, to play without fear. That combination of talent and confidence and institutional support is terrifying for everyone who has to line up against him. The historic $504 million deal leaves the NFL speechless, but it will not leave them silent for long. The other franchises will adapt. They will find ways to compete. They will build their own quarterbacks, build their own dynasties, write their own stories.
But for now, for this moment, the league belongs to Patrick Mahomes, and he just made sure that will be true for a very long time. Do you think Patrick Mahomes is worth $500 million, or have the Chiefs made a massive mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay ahead of every historic NFL deal before it breaks, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because Patrick Mahomes just changed everything, and the NFL will never be the same.